How can something, or someone, be both infinitely forgiving and at the same time perfectly just? It really sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Well, today we're going to dive right into the heart of that theological puzzle, and we'll explore two really powerful concepts from Islamic tradition that offer a pretty beautiful answer.
So, in Islamic tradition, there's this concept of God having 99 most beautiful names, and each one reveals a different quality or attribute. For this explainer, we're going to zoom in on just two of them. And these are two that, on the surface, seem to pull in completely opposite directions. It's this dynamic tension that's so fascinating.
So that really brings us to our core question, right? You've got this boundless, infinite mercy on one hand, and on the other, you've got this absolute justice, where, every single action is accounted for. How on earth do those two things coexist in one being? Well, to get our heads around that, we've really got to look at each one on its own first. Okay, so let's meet our two key players here. Al-Ghafur, which means the forgiving, and Al-Adl, the just. We're going to break them down one by one and then see how they actually fit together like pieces of a puzzle. All right, let's start with mercy. First up, what does it really mean to be the forgiving? Now, this is so important. The name Al-Ghafur, it doesn't just mean forgiving once in a while. It's often translated as the oft forgiving, which means it's this continuous, active thing that's always happening. And it goes deeper than just erasing a mistake. It's also about covering it up, shielding a person from the shame and giving them a genuinely clean slate to start over. And this quote, wow, it just puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? The core idea here isn't about being perfect. Far from it. Making mistakes is basically baked into the human experience. Divine forgiveness exists precisely because we're going to mess up. So the real focus, the real test, isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about what you do after you make them. So, okay, what are the characteristics of this forgiveness? What does it actually look like in practice? Well, first off, it's boundless. So incredibly vast that no one should ever despair of finding it. Second, it's comprehensive. It can literally encompass all kinds of sins as long as you seek it. And third, and this is huge, it's an act of pure, perfect grace. It's given freely, not because you've somehow earned it.
Okay, but hang on. If there's all this boundless forgiveness floating around, where does accountability come in? Do actions even have consequences? Well, that brings us perfectly to the other side of the scale, the mandate for justice. Let's talk about Al-Adl.
Now, when you hear the just, it's easy to jump straight to punishment, right? But Al-Adl is so much bigger than that. It's really about cosmic balance, about order. The root of the word itself is all about restoring things to their correct, proper proportion. Think of it as this underlying principle that ensures the entire universe is in its right place, functioning exactly as it should. And you can see this justice playing out in three different areas. First, you see it in creation itself. Just think about a perfectly balanced ecosystem where every creature has its role. That's a form of justice. Second, it's in the divine commands, the rules for humans. They're designed to be something we can actually do, not impossible tasks. And third, and this is the one that really gets to our question, it's in our actions. This is where that ultimate personal accountability kicks in. This verse, it just captures that idea of accountability so perfectly. The principle of al-adl means that literally nothing gets missed, not a single thing. An atom's weight of good or evil. It's all seen, it's all recorded. It's a system of perfect, almost microscopic balance. So, okay, we're right back where we started, at our central question. How in the world do you reconcile this boundless, all-encompassing forgiveness with a system of justice that is so precise it measures things by the weight of an atom? Are these things fighting each other? Or are they two sides of the same coin? And here's the beautiful resolution. They don't actually contradict at all. They complement each other. Think of it like this. Al-Ghafur, the forgiving, is the open door. It's the path of hope that's always available for someone who messes up but sincerely wants to turn back. But Al-Adl, the just, is the foundation the whole house is built on. It's the underlying system of order that makes sure our choices, our actions, actually mean something. So one is the pathway, and the other is the bedrock. And check this out. What's so powerful about this verse is the order of the message. Did you catch that? The reminder of forgiveness and mercy comes first. The warning about punishment comes second. And that is absolutely not an accident. It positions hope as the default setting, the primary message. Justice is the essential consequence that gives our choices weight. But hope leads the way. And this is maybe the most crucial takeaway. Accessing that forgiveness, it's not a passive thing. It's not some kind of get-out-of-jail-free card or a cosmic loophole. Real, true repentance needs two things: genuine remorse for what you did and a solid, firm intention to change your ways. You can't just hope for a pardon while secretly planning to do the exact same thing tomorrow. That completely misses the point. So, what does this all mean for us? This divine balancing act? It's not just some high-level, abstract theological concept. It's actually meant to be a blueprint for how we live our lives. So, what does that look like on the ground, day to day?
Well, the idea is that we're supposed to try and mirror both of these qualities in our own lives. We need to be forgiving and compassionate with other people, reflect that quality of El Ghaffar. But at the same exact time, we have to stand firm for justice, to be witnesses to what's right, reflecting Al-Adl. And here's the really hard part: that justice has to be for everyone, not just our friends, but even for people we can't stand.
In this verse just brings it all home with this really powerful, almost rhetorical question. It's basically asking, wouldn't you like to be forgiven? It directly connects the act of you forgiving other people with your own hope of being forgiven. It's like by practicing mercy, you open yourself up to receiving it. And so in the end, this whole grand theological question comes all the way down to a very real, very human level. It leaves us with a challenge, really. How do we, in our own lives, in our families, in our societies, build a world that is both forgiving and just? How do we navigate that delicate balance? Because creating a world that is both compassionate and accountable, well, that's the enduring project that this whole divine balancing act seems to inspire.